Traditional matchmaking is a time-honored tradition that was practiced throughout Southeast Asia and India during the early period of bare-knuckle and wrestling competitions. Each Lethwei tournament begins with the traditional blessing and Lethwei dances, but at times prior to the actual competition or opening ceremonies, the matchmaking will start with fighters entering the ring to pay respects to the referees, who will be picking the fighters along with the jury. Other times, matchmaking commences right after the opening ceremonies. The referees are sometimes familiar with the fighters and camps and can make the matches more easily. During a lull in the fighting, there might be yet another call for fighters, and fighters will again step up for a chance to be matched and fight. This ancient practice comes from a time when fighting had no time limits, weight classes, or very many rules. Fighters were matched under the expert eye of the officials who oversaw the competitions. This was prior to fighting events even having referees and/or a jury. Fighters could also challenge one another, or a call could be put out for fighters to compete against a specific competitor, usually a crowd favorite, that would excite the audience and build anticipation for the bout. After the pairs are handpicked and matched, and the fighters' names are entered into a book, the tournament will commence with usually the younger fighters first. The referees primarily look for the earmark of a fighter, and that's the density of his muscle. They might pinch the skin or look closely at the body to see if it's ready for competition. This is an often confusing factor for Westerners, unfamiliar with this concept. Even in Muay Thai when I was young, the coach would often test your body by touching the muscles and pinching the skin. They would often use the word fat, even if you weren't fat and in shape, but lacked the density they were looking for. They believe that the body arrives at the right density through proper training to be able to compete. This idea descends from the older concept of matchmaking. Today, of course, in the modern world of matchmaking, so much more goes into the matchups that are done way ahead of the competition, with the fighter's health being a key component, along with his fighting record and training. Modern matchmaking is also about making matches that the fans want to see, and creating fight cards that can make money for both the fighters and promoters. Sometimes an underprepared fighter, or a good fighter who hasn't trained properly, will beg his way into a bout for money. Here we see a fighter finally convince a senior official to match him. But when the time comes to fight, he lasts only a round. Soon he runs out of gas and is knocked down several times before being counted out. After the bout, the young winner informed me that his coach told him to test out his opponent and go to the body, even though he looked in good shape. He said the opponent had a hard time with the body shots, exhaling and pulling away, so he continued the attack until the opponent finally gave up. This is one aspect of traditional matchmaking that can produce disastrous results. Since the fighter had no physical or blood tests, his condition is unknown. It's one of the dangerous aspects of this type of matchmaking because the referee and jury do not know the true physical condition of the fighter. This is why the referee, once the fight commences, is of the utmost importance to watch closely to see if one fighter is seriously waning and to give him every chance, but to stop the bout when it's beyond his means to continue. Today we can still see traditional matchmaking during the many rural tournaments and holiday celebrations throughout the year. It gives us a rare glimpse into the age-old Lethwei tradition that is still maintained, while the sport continues moving forward with the big international tournaments that bring Lethwei into the modern era.